Hey everybody, Drew Brenner, your mortgage advisor over at Willowbend Mortgage, and I'm coming to you today to give you a real life example as to why you should try to make sure your clients do not use the big banks when they're getting a mortgage. Now I hear it all the time where, they're like, oh, I've banked with them for 20 years. They're a great bank. And yeah, a lot of the big banks are great banks when you're banking with them, but a mortgage is a totally different ball game than just regular banking. So you can use this example, or better yet, even forward this video to your client and let them hear a real life example of what a lot of people run into when they're using the big banks. So my client, I've got her on her purchase, but the person that's buying her home was using one of the big banks. Now, again, I'm not going to say who it is, which bank it is, because they're all pretty much the same and they all work very similarly. And really, everything's good until it's not, and then you miss closing dates, and you can have a domino effect of a lot of people that are getting hurt by the fact that this big bank has missed the closing date. So in this case, let's see, it first started with the appraisal. The appraisal was supposed to be due in a couple of weeks ago on a Thursday or Friday. The listing agent, who's my buyer's agent, actually spoke with the appraiser. He said he'll have it in the next day and it'll be all good to go. Well, Friday comes around, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rolls around, still no appraisal. They're wondering what's going on, and now they're being told that it's not going to be in until Thursday or Friday. They're still not actually given a reason as to why this is, but the agent was told one thing, and now all of a sudden it's totally different. So that's point number one. A lot of times you run into where you're being told one thing by one person, and it ends up totally not being that way. But the loan officer at this big bank actually kept saying, oh, we're still going to close on Monday, because we were supposed to close 4 or 5 days later on Monday, and it was Wednesday, Thursday kind of thing when we were having this conversation. And I personally was even in contact with the loan officer via email, who kept telling me, nope, everything's good to go. Oh, now we've got the appraisal. We're definitely good to go for closing Monday, good to go for closing Monday, July 29th. Okay, well, Friday ends up rolling around, and guess what? We are not good to close on Monday. The reason cited in this case was because the original contract date, actually on page 6 or whatever it is of the contract, had August 1st as the closing date. And even though everybody had been in communication with the loan officer saying, we're closing this early on the 29th, I had even, of course, emailed with him. He said, yes, we'll be closing Monday the 29th. But the big banks oftentimes say, oh, we are going to whatever the closing date is on the contract. Even though it says close on or before that closing date, they are going to go with that closing date on the contract, which was August 1st in this case. So they basically even said that in order to move a closing date up, even if everything else is squared away, they have to have 10 days to get that approved. So they need 10 days to move the closing date up 3 days, even though everything was already basically in line to get that closed 3 days early on the 29th. So this, of course, has caused issues. We're now having to close on the 1st. There's definitely a domino effect of a lot of people being affected by this big bank missing this closing date. And again, like I said earlier, everything was fine. Again, even I spoke with the guy, or actually emailed with the guy, saying everything was fine until all of a sudden, oops, never mind, it's not. And again, that's what you get a lot of times when you use the big banks. One of the pulls to the big banks is they usually do have really good rates, but a lot of local lenders can typically match those rates if they don't already have those rates. So, it's much better for you as the agent and better for the client to have them talk to a good local mortgage company that's hopefully going to be able to get them pretty much the same type of deal or very close to it, but then have, of course, the added benefit of really good customer service, great communication, and the fact that you're going to close on time, biggest point of all. So again, if you've got a client, please send them this video, have them give me a call. I'd love to talk to them about the experience and what I offer as a great local mortgage loan originator. So give me a call. My cell phone number is 214-282-6387. Again, 214-282-6387. And I'm Drew Brenner with Willowbend Mortgage. All right, thanks a lot and have a great evening. Bye-bye.